Good morning, happy Sunday Bunday. Today we are going to talk about supplements that your chickens might need. We're going to talk about 3 supplements that your chickens need. And I was talking about like what people might think supplements are. You know, are they vitamins? Are they just, what are they exactly? So I am going to talk about 3 things that your chickens need like every day their whole life. That way you will know what to give them and there's no confusion. The rest of the stuff I like to talk about is if your chickens are getting a healthy diet and they're getting all the nutrients they need, it's like people. You don't really need to add supplements. So you have to determine that with where you live, what you're feeding, what you can buy at the feed store and all that stuff. Okay, so we'll start with the first thing all chickens need, like all birds, really. I'm not just going to say chickens. All birds need this, and that is grit. And the reason I like to get the grit at the store is the kind of grit I buy is crushed granite. And the reason granite is so awesome as a grit for your chickens, for all your birds, is it's a really, really, really hard stone. And like I was saying, I think granite is harder than diamonds. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but it's right up there. It's a really hard stone. And the reason that's good is, for one, it'll last a long time in their gizzard where they need it. And it'll do a great job of grinding up their food because that's what it'll do. It'll rubs together and grinds up their food. So just if you're buying grit for your chickens, look for crushed granite. That is the best kind ever. And it is crushed and it's small pieces. The chickens love it and it's really effective and they will need that their entire lives. So get a big bag. You might as well just get a big bag. Your chickens live for years and years and years. And there's just no point in getting a little tiny bag. You're just going to have to keep going back and buying it. It doesn't go bad. You might as well just get a big bag, keep it in the garage, the shed, the barn, wherever you store stuff, and be done with it. Just one trip to the store for that stuff. Just get the big bag. Okay, so the second thing that you're going to have to give, now your hens are going to need this the most. Now, it will benefit roosters and, any boy birds, but the girl birds are going to need this the most. And that is going to be the crushed oyster shells. And the reason the girl birds need it is because they lay their eggs, and to produce an egg, starting from way up here in their body and the way it goes down the little egg factory within their body, is they need a lot of calcium for that, and their muscles need calcium to contract to push the egg down the little egg factory as it's being developed. And so if they don't have enough calcium in their body, their muscles don't work properly to contract to move the egg down the pike, I call it, which is the little egg factory. And then, of course, the last stage where the egg is forming the shell will not be hard enough. And so, your shells will be very weak. Sometimes those shells will, break as the chicken's trying to lay the egg. Sometimes at the very end, when the egg is formed, those big muscles at the end that really need to contract to push the egg out and lay the egg won't be working properly because the chicken doesn't have enough calcium in her body. And then the chicken will get egg bound, which will be any bird really, not just a chicken, will get egg bound, which is just such a nightmare. You just don't even want to deal with that. The bird suffers, you're suffering. It's a nightmare. You just want to avoid that at all costs. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you this. Just go get crushed oyster shells. If you, when you're getting your chickens, your first trip to the feed store, just go ahead and get the bag of crushed oyster shells. And again, just get the big bag. There's no point in getting the big bag. The chickens live a long life. again, you can just store it in the shed, the barn, wherever, and just get the big bag. You're gonna need it. Just do it once and for all. Just get the big 40, 50-pound bag and be done with it. So just have those 2 bags out there. You got your grit, you got your oyster shells, the 2 big bags, you're all set. It'll last you for a while. And then you will be avoiding problems. You will be avoiding, sauerkraut. You'll be avoiding egg-bound hens. You'll be avoiding a lot of problems. You'll save yourself some trouble. And avoiding problems is way, way better and way easier than trying to deal with them afterwards, where it's a nightmare and a headache and stress and everything else for you. And of course, the poor chicken, you know what I mean? It's worse on them than it is you. So, okay, so the number 3 is going to be the diatomaceous earth. Now, I want to show people what this looks like. It's just like...
And where can they buy diatomaceous earth?
This is like the white powder. Now, you can click on the link below. It'll take you to my website, and it'll be a link where...
It's under Becky's favorites in the description below.
Yeah, it's under Becky's favorites. I have a little store where you can also click through my store and see all the stuff I like and I buy, and you can just browse through there and see if you like anything too. But just to stick on topic, you can get the diatomaceous earth there under Becky's favorites. Get the same exact kind I get, which is freshwater, food grade diatomaceous earth. And the reason this is good is there's not much clay in it. It's very white, as you can see, because there's lots and lots of kinds of diatomaceous earth. You will just see, like, everybody sells it, but they're not all created equally and they're not all the same. So if you want to get the same kind I use, and I've been using it for years and years and years on all my animals, so people will just be like, oh, you can't use that. Oh, that's not good for them. Well, the proof is in the pudding. My animals all look fantastic. They've been getting it for 15, 20 years, and they're still alive and well, worm-free, and so whatever people are saying clearly isn't true. It's like, my animals are happy and healthy and very long-lived, I might add. Very long-lived. So you can trust me when I tell you it's perfectly safe and effective. Okay, so what this will do, this diatomaceous earth will do, is deworm your animals. And that is very important because animals living outside, and they can carry a huge worm load. If you don't take care of that and deworm your animals, over time, what happens is your property just gets so infested with worms, and your animals will just carry such a heavy worm load because there's so many different types of worms and different stages of the worm larvae and how it develops in the animal. And it does a lot of damage to all the animals, like your cats, your dogs, your goats, your pigs, your horses, your chickens, like all your animals. It does a lot of damage internally to all your animals. And so it's very, very important to deworm your animals regularly. And I personally love the diatomaceous earth because it's chemical free. It's natural. It does work slower. It's not like a pow of chemicals, which I personally don't like. I would rather take the slower, more natural course, but very effective. And the key is you have to worm your whole, property, all the animals on your property. You cannot spot worm. You can't be like, oh, I'm just going to worm my horses, but I don't worm my chickens and I don't worm my dogs, because then the worm load is still on your property. It's just in the poop all around and it just moves. You have to do everybody. And eventually what happens over time is what you'll do is you will get your property worm-free. You will not have the worm load on your property. So you will have less flies, you'll have less, bugs. Everything will be better and your animals will just thrive and look fantastic. They'll all have a good coat. when they're eating food, they'll get all the nutrients from the food. The worms won't be getting all the nutrients, so they'll just look bright-eyed, healthy, they'll just be spunky and happy. So you'll see such a difference. Again, it takes a little time to get to that point, especially if you have a heavy worm load in your animals and on your property. But don't give up, because you can do it in a natural way. And so you can I have videos on how much to do and how to do it. So you can just search for those and just follow my instructions, and you can do it and just have really happy, healthy animals. All right, and so the next thing I do want to say, there is another supplement you might want to do for your chickens or your birds when you first get them, when they're tiny, tiny, tiny. And what you have to do is be very careful with the amount. Is when they're shipped to you, if they're shipped to you, or you might buy them, let's just say at a flea market, you kind of know what you're looking at, or you feel sorry for them maybe, or whatever, and you get them home, you might want to give them some electrolytes, because they're just maybe not looking good, and you want to just make sure they're well hydrated. Don't ever deworm something as soon as you get an animal. I just want to point that out with this diatomaceous source. Don't ever get an animal home and just start doing stuff to it right away. Always, 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 for 2 weeks, just feed it and make sure number one is it's well hydrated before you start doing anything to it. A lot of animals will just not be well, and they'll be dehydrated, and so you don't want to start doing anything to it, because you can kill it. You'll just bring it down worse. The stress of a new home and new people, and then you'll start doing stuff to it, and it will not do well. It'll go downhill. So just keep it for 2 weeks, just feed it, let it get used to you, and just give it electrolytes maybe, let it get well hydrated over 2 weeks, and then you can start maybe deworming it and, doing stuff to it. Remember that. That's a very important thing to remember. So that's why I do want to mention the electrolytes. And you can buy like little packs of electrolytes, like at the feed stores and stuff. They'll have like little packages of them. Don't overdo it. Don't be like, oh, the package says like 1 package per gallon. Oh, I'm gonna like, it's like Kool-Aid. I'm gonna put 2 packs in. It's gonna make it extra delicious. No, 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 no. Don't do that. It doesn't make it extra delicious. It's gonna make it extra salty, and then the animal is not going to drink it, and it's actually going to get more dehydrated. It's going to be less hydrated. It's going to be, worse. So just make sure, you're not like, just think a dab will do you. If anything, do half the packet. Don't do 2 packets, if you're just starting out, because a lot of times something new, flavor to the water or something, the animal will be leery to drink it. So just control yourself. Don't overdo it. A lot of times, just in our exuberance to help the animal, we overdo it, and the animals are standoffish. They don't like that. No animal does, if you notice. Animals are more like leery and standoffish. So a dab will do you. Start very slowly. Just a pinch, a dab will do it, and then the animal will slowly get used to that. Of course, I'm not talking about some couch potato dog you've had for 10 years and will eat anything you're eating. That dog's already used to you, and it's spoiled and knows everything you eat is good and wants some. I'm not talking about one of those. That's a different creature. That one's already spoiled. And yes, we love to get them to that stage because they're so cute and so much fun. But that's not really what I'm talking about. We get them to that point. We get them all to that point, we get the chickens so they're following us around, and we get them all to that point, and that is fun, and we do enjoy that, and just get a giggle out of them, and that's when they're just so funny. But I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about when we're just bringing them home, and they're not used to us yet and stuff. They're leery and standoffish at that point, so you have to start very slowly and just do a dab of everything at first. That way they'll eat it and drink it.
I got to tell everybody the story of when Jules got in Neil's pen the other day.
Oh my
I got to tell everybody
goodness.
what happened. My little bantam rooster I have, Jules, I keep him separated from the other chickens so he doesn't fight with our big rooster, Dum Dum. So I let him out the other day just so he could run around and get some exercise. And we have our potbelly pig, Neil, who has his own pen. And Jules, I go out there, and Jules had gotten in the pen with Neil somehow. I don't know if he jumped over the fence or what.
He fits right in there. He's little.
But then he doesn't know how to get out. He's stuck in there. He's like going up and down the fence all upset. And Neil can kind of be mean to chickens sometimes when they go in there. He doesn't want anybody in his pen. And so I'm like, oh, I got to go in there and get Jules out of there. So I open the gate. I go in there. And I pick up Jules. And I don't know why, he just starts squawking and clucking very loud. I think he was scared of Neil because he's never done that before, ever. And here comes Neil. I was kind of in the back of the pig pen. It was not near the gate. So I pick him up. Jules just starts squawking like crazy, which I think it's because he was scared
He's
of
like,
Neil.
help!
Here comes Neil running over to I don't know what he's doing. Neil has big tusks, so I'm very cautious around Neil. I don't want to find out what he's going to do. So here comes Neil running over at me, and so I just start running away. And so now I'm holding Jules, he's squawking his head off. Neil's chasing me, and I just ran so fast to that gate and ran out that gate with Neil chasing me the whole way.
But I have to add this. It's kind of funny, but it makes both my boys mad. We've had Neil, he's the little potbelly pig, and he gives me these cooing, lovey-dovey sounds to mommy. He just like, woo, I can't even imitate him. Just these high-pitched, like cooing little sweet sounds to me. And then, of course, my boys love him. They want to pet him, and they want to get their little sweet, lovey-dovey sounds into Neil. And especially James. James loves Neil. I have pictures of James in the pen with Neil. He just wants to pet him. And he comes over. He always wants to see Neil first. But lately, Neil has been mean to James and attacks James and tries to get James. And James is so mortified and so hurt that Neil's mean to him and tries to bite him. And he's just like, I hate that pig now. He's so hurt. His feelings are so hurt. And I'm like, well, you're too rough with him or something. I don't know, you're too rough with him. You're come on too strong or something. I'm like, Neil is sweet. And so the other day, Scott was over there patting Neil. Or I don't know what he's doing to him. I can't see, but I'm assuming Scott's loving him.
What do you mean you don't know what I'm doing to
well,
him?
I didn't see what he was doing to him.
I'm petting him. And giving him love.
He says he's petting him.
What are you...
I'm just teasing Scott. You should see his face. I'm just teasing Scott. He said he's over there petting Neil, and Neil was mad at Scott and does the same thing to Scott. He's like, he kind of goes like tries to say get away from me.
Neil only wants treats. And you got to give Neil treats. If you go over there empty-handed and just want to pet him, he's like, no.
And he gives a little.
You got to pay. You got to give me treats.
Well, he doesn't do it to me. That's all I can say. And so Scott yelled at Neil. So then Neil ran back in the pen a few feet, Scott scolded him. But then Scott's standing there telling me what Neil was doing. But the funniest thing is Neil charges the fence. He really wanted Scott to get away from his pen. He charged Scott, and Scott kind of ran away. Neil knows Scott's afraid of him, which was so funny. I was so stunned that Scott told me he went in his pen to get the rooster, because I'm thinking, well, Neil doesn't like you anymore and he's going to chase you out of his pen. So
well, I didn't want him to eat. I didn't want him to eat Jules,
because people will say, oh, pigs, which we don't eat Neil, of course. He's our potbelly pig. He's my baby. I love Neil. So people will say, oh, pigs are so sweet. How can you eat a pig? And what people don't realize, our pigs can be so mean and so aggressive and so nasty, and they get these big tusks and they sharpen them, and they literally are like razors. And pigs are so strong. Their bodies are very dense. They're like a solid muscle. And so when they come to cut you with that, they do it with such strength. Like they can really, really get you and hurt you bad, like really bad.
I still love Neil. Neil just wants treats. He's like, give me some treats or lose my number. I still love Neil.
I try to tell Scott too. Neil's really old. I'm like, he's old. He's really old now. And I'm like, he's a crabby old man. Like you have to cut him some slack. He's grouchy. He's a grouchy old man. And maybe he gets overwhelmed with Scott and James. You know what I mean? I don't know. But he's sweet to me. So that's all I know. He loves his mommy. Because they're always like, you better watch out. You better be careful with Neil. And I go in his pen and he follows me around doing his little high-pitched like sing-songy thing to me, and I pet him and he like rolls over and I pet his belly. So I don't know, he's moody, I guess. He doesn't want them to pet him, he only wants me to pet him. Okay, so we got off topic, but Scott told a little story about Neil, but we're having some Neil issues. So when we're moving, I'm like all worried about Neil, like where I'm going to put his pen. Like he's my little baby, and I'm like, I can't put him too far away. I have to build him this really nice little house over there. I'm almost done building my horse barn, so I'm so exhausted today because I was putting on the tin roof all by myself on the little horse barn I'm building, and I'm just like so worn out. I woke up this morning, I was just like, oh, I'm so tired and so worn out. Because it's so hot, you know, you just sweat to death, and I'm like, I was like climbing up and down and up and down, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so worn out. But I'm like, I'm gonna still get up and do my video for everybody. Even though I just want to lay there in bed and be a lump. I'm like, I'm gonna get up and do it. So anyway, okay,
we should give an update on Homestead Park.
What?
We should give an update on Homestead Park.
Well, I did. I was just giving an update about the little horse barn, and then we
talked to the house mover, and
Yeah.
they're working on the permits right now. That's the step they're on.
Right. And as soon as the permits come through, then they can start on the foundation. It's just, you know, when you're just waiting, like everything's in other people's hands, like other people's control.
And we have to take the front porch off the cabin, and so
yes, we have
so
started.
far I climbed up there. I took the tin roof off, and that's the tin we're using for the little barn over at Homestead Park. So I took all the tin off the roof, and then I detached the electric for the porch lights, but I left the plug, because the plug is like attached to the actual house. So all I did was detach the lights from the actual porch. Yeah,
because when it's over there, we can just hook it all back up.
Yeah, it's doesn't have, you don't have to touch it. It's, you know, on the front
So
of the house.
he's like tearing it down, and as soon as he tears it down, like all the tin and stuff, I'm like drooling. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. So he's gonna get more wood off the porch, which is so nice. I'm like, thank God. So he's gonna get more wood off the porch, and as soon as he does, I'm gonna load it all in the truck. I'm gonna take it over there, and I'm gonna build Neil's pen with it, and I'm gonna use a little bit more on my horse barn. So it's just like moving stuff from here to there, but it is exhausting trying to do two properties, honestly.
It's exhausting trying to maintain two properties.
Oh my gosh.
It's exhausting just moving in general.
Oh, my truck looks like a tool truck, you know, like I have so many tools in there, and just driving back and forth. I'm a minimalist. This just drives that home. I am such a minimalist. Like I don't want two properties. I just want less, you know, I do like having the bigger piece of property, just more nature around me, but
like we always say, big property,
yeah,
tiny house.
Yes, it's like
that's the key to happiness.
Oh, like I never want to be like a landlord and manage two properties. Like I'm just a minimalist. It just drives it home even more. Less is more to me. It's like I can't wait to just get over there and just dump this property, you know, get rid of this one, and just be like, oh, just settle back down, you know, and just homestead on one property.
Which we should ask everybody watching, do you think anybody would want to come and buy this, you know, Becky's homestead, this property, because we're going to sell it?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
The cabin's not going to be here, but the barn's going to be here.
Which I love that little barn.
It's Becky's homestead, number one.
I have too.
think somebody's going to want to buy
Version 1. I do love that barn though. That is so handy. That is one thing.
We're gonna get a new barn.
Yeah, replicate that though. It's going to be similar because that is such a good design. I thought about that and thought about that and thought about that and like what's handy, what's useful, and oh my gosh, I love that barn.
We got a $5 super chat from Tylita 360 Cafe.
Thank you, Tylita.
It says, "Hi Becky, I'm having fun with my baby chicks on my urban homestead.
Oh, cool.
They should be laying by October. Thank you for everything."
Oh, good. Yeah, you'll love that. Those eggs are so good. I'm like, look at this.
Do an egg check.
Hey, did you eat some eggs? I thought I had
touch
this
them.
full. Oh, no, not quite. Look how big my eggs are. Those are some gigantic eggs, aren't they? So big.
I would just say don't put like a mark on your calendar and with your clipboard in front of the chicken going, okay, I expect my first egg by October 7th.
Be pointing at that hen. Okay, Miss Hen,
It's marked on the
October
calendar.
7th.
It's marked. Just they'll lay when they lay. Just make sure they have nutrition and they're not
Have a nice
stressed
nest
out.
box.
They have to have no stress
Yeah.
and nutrition.
A lot of people block off the nest boxes, and I'm like, why? Don't block off the nest boxes because they like to look in there. Hens are very nosy. They're so funny. They'll be like, they like stretch up. Like I always like to have the bottom of the nest box 2 feet off the ground. They seem like they like to jump up there a little bit into the nest box. And you will see them. They'll be on the ground. They'll be like looking in there. They're just so talking to each other like, hey, Susie, what's in there? It's the nest box. You'll hear them just talking back and forth. It is a riot. Just so much fun. They're so funny.
We got a message from Sharon, our channel member.
Hi, Sharon.
Good morning, Becky. Thank you for all your information. I bought your book.
Oh, good.
And I've been watching your videos. I have my coop and run ready for my 2 chickens, taking your advice and starting small.
Start small. You will not regret it.
Book.
It's the wrong book. Sorry. Told you I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Okay, yeah. It's so funny. My other son, James, my younger son, James, he is just so funny too because he's been dying to get chickens. He's a homesteader now too, which just cracks me up because you know how when your kids are coming up, they don't want to be homesteaders. Whatever you're doing is just like so queer and all this stuff. But now that he's in his early 30s, it's like he wants to be a homesteader, which just warms my heart though, of course. And he wants chickens. And he was just, you know, of course, they want to get 20 at first. So I was like, no, don't get that many. Just get 4. Just get 4. And so he did. He listened. He just got 4 chickens. I'm so proud of him that he listened to his mother finally. And he just got 4. I'm like, start small. So he's in the stages. I'm telling him all the supplies he needs to build the coop. So he's going to build the exact hen house I have, the 10 by 10. It's just so funny. Just warms my heart to see him enjoy the chickens as much as I do. I just love it. You just can't help it. You do get addicted to these chickens and the eggs, and it just does become a part of your life. You just enjoy it so much. And it gets you outside into the fresh air, and you just love to go take care of them and collect your eggs every day, and you do get used to them too. They do become your pets. You know, they're like working pets. That's what I like to call them. Working pets. They're so fun. So much fun. But good for you. I'm so glad. Start small though. You can always add more. You can always add more. It's not a problem to add more. If your coop is big enough and your hen house is big enough, you've got the hang of things are going well, you can add more. No problem. It's much easier to do it that way than to have 15 chickens, your coop's too small, they're fighting, they're plucking feathers, some are dying. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Oh, that is way worse, way worse. It's much easier and way more fun to start small and like just add 2, and then the next year add 2 more. It's way more fun because you can just like pick out, you know, always make sure though, like if you start with the feisty breeds, like you've got the Barred Rocks and the Rhode Island Reds, the aggressive personalities, like stick with those. Like don't go get the sweet personalities and try to throw them in the coop with those aggressive personalities because then they're going to have some bullying going on there. unless you have two coops or your coop is so huge that they can get away from each other. You can have 2 feeding stations in that coop and, you know, 2 roosts in that coop. You got to work on all that and think about all that. Figure it all out. You got to manage it. Basically, you're managing your animals. You have to have good success. Scott, you're just spacing out.
I'm looking at your mule out the window. He's out there. I think you can see him on the camera.
My mule, love that thing. He's a good boy. Okay, well, are there any questions over there? No? Okay. Anyway, so as far as supplements go, so I don't give any other supplements. I just want to talk about that a little bit more. I personally don't give any other supplements. I don't feed medicated feed to any of my animals. None of my animals. I don't feed any medicated feed to my animals. If I ride, you know, let's just say my horses or whatever, I will do the salt, the electrolytes. That's the only thing I will add to my chickens. We'll just stick with the chickens, you know what I mean? If I think they need them. Sometimes if they seem like, for whatever reason, they'll get that sour croup, which mine don't usually get that. When I was very new in chickens, you know, they would get that a little bit. And I think that can be a lack of the granite oyster shell, grit. You know, once you switch to that and you just get the granite grit, you usually don't have that problem. Another thing is if you start feeding whole food and not processed chicken feed, like I mix up my own, I call it Becky's chicken mix. I just call it my chicken mix. And you're feeding them whole food. It's not that processed bagged food you buy at the feed stores. You really don't have problems with your chickens getting sauerkraut and stuff, and they're getting enough nutrition. I think a lot of times with the processed foods that they bag up and sell in the stores is there's so much filler in there that the birds have to eat so much of that to get the nutrients they need that they're overeating. And so they can get clogged up. It's just packed in there because it's very powdery. It's very processed. And so that can just get dry and packed up in there and they can get sauerkraut. Where like I mix up my own feed, it's whole food. So there's just more fiber in there and it's more nutrient dense. They don't eat as much of that. And then along with the crushed granite for the grit is just like no problems. Like they never get sauerkraut and they don't eat as much, but they stay a nice shape and just lay tons of eggs. So that chicken mix is in this book. If you're interested in, you know, my chicken mix and how I make it and what I feed personally to get these huge eggs I just showed you. And my birds do lay all year except for when they're molting. Of course, all birds stop when they're molting because there's just no way they can lay while they're like growing new feathers. That's just impossible because they just need so much protein to grow in the new feathers, and laying eggs takes so much protein that they just have a pause.
We got a $10 super chat from Sonia.
Thank you, Sonia.
And it says #1 fan, it's the pair dancing.
I'm like, thank you. The pair, so cute. So, you know, so that is the key. You know, they have to have a pause when they molt. But other than that, my chickens do lay all year. Like, that's why it's good to know how to feed them properly and how to take care of them properly, because then you don't need that many chickens to have great egg production. You can just have a few chickens and just have those eggs rolling in non-stop. And you would be surprised after a while. You're just like, okay, eggs, you're burying me. It's like you don't have that many chickens, but when the eggs truly, truly never stop rolling in, you're honestly, you're just like, whoa. Like you're giving them away, but it is kind of funny. Honestly, you're just like, woo. Eggs, there's like never a shortage of eggs, and you can't even imagine having 15 or 20 chickens. When people say that, you just look at them like they're crazy, and you just know they're not laying. You just know they're not laying, because if they were, the whole room would be filled with eggs up to the ceiling. Like you just know they're not laying good. Or they would have a roadside stand with cartons stacked up selling them. You know what I mean? It's just so funny. So when I hear people that say they have that many chickens, I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's like when I see how many eggs I get from my 5 chickens, just for years, just continually, it's so funny. So that's why I tell people, like, don't get too many, because if you do it right, you don't need too many. And that's the word I try to spread to people. You have to do it right, and then you don't need too many. And that's what makes it a joy, is you just can have a few backyard chickens for years and years and years and just have your eggs. And it just makes your life easy, because it makes them easy to take care of. If you go away, it makes it easy for the pet sitter, and it just makes everything easier. It's not costing you a fortune to feed them. Like everything, it's a small operation, but it's a very productive small operation. So, that's what I'm trying to, spread the word about that. So a lot of people will be like, yeah, I have 30 chickens and they all get along and I keep them on 5 acres. And I'm like, well, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to families that want to keep a few backyard chickens. I'm not talking to the farmer with 25 acres that keeps 30 chickens on 5 acres. That's not my audience. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to families, to people that just want to keep their backyard chickens for their personal eggs, their personal egg production for their household. That's a homesteader. They don't want to sell them. They just want them for their family. Maybe give a dozen to their children or a dozen to their friend or whatever, like we do. True homesteaders. Those are the people I'm talking to. And, like I talk to people, they can just have their backyard chickens, their urban chickens. You can live, even some people have a couple in the city in a tiny little yard. We have the city coop. You don't need 5 acres for your 30 chickens. You can have the city coop. You can have a 1 acre yard, a half acre yard, or you can have a 5 acre yard or a 7 acre yard. Those are the people I'm talking to. Just have a few chickens. Those are the people I wrote my book for, and those are the people I'm talking to. So hopefully those are the people I'm helping.
Okay. Well, you want to finish for today, or you want to keep going?
Yes. No, I think that's enough, because I'm very tired. You got to feel sorry for me. I'm trying to keep 2 places going until I move. When I move, though, I'm going to build a new chicken coop. I can't wait. I'm just going to get them over there first, though. But once I'm over there, and then I'm going to film that. When I'm building a new chicken coop, I'm going to film it. Like, hopefully, like Scott and I together. We'll film a really good one, building a new coop. That's exciting. I can't wait. And then we're going to get, we'll get a few different chickens and stuff. But okay, well, I'm glad everybody tuned in, and I hope you've had a nice week. And I will see you next week. Happy homesteading. Bye-bye.